Hey everyone, so it's time for the highly requested Hammond rework. Now, like you all may be aware of, the format now is that I look into one key aspect of the character, make a video on how I think it's supposed to change, and then come up with another video doing a full rework based off of the feedback I get from you guys in the comments. So this video is going to be the first one for Hammond. So after this, based off of your feedback, I will do the full rework video. So for this, what I wanted to focus on for Hammond is his grappling claw, because that does seem to be the core mechanic of how he's supposed to be played. So first, let's talk about Hammond overall. Hammond was definitely not made for Overwatch 2. Like, it's not that he doesn't work, but he really doesn't work with his team. In Overwatch 1, he had the other tank to kind of be a distraction so he can, pop in, create chaos, or even get a kill, and then leave and, kind of cycle it back again, just kind of go around and come back into the fight. In Overwatch 2, if he does this and leaves, his team dies because the tanks are just so strong. They're just gonna dive into all the, his squishies. He doesn't provide much for his team as in protection or a consistent distraction. He really goes off and does his own thing. Part of the reason is because his entire kit is based off of him moving. You might think Doomfist does the same thing, but if you've seen my, Doomfist guide videos, you will know that that's not at all how he's supposed to play. Doom should stay with his team. Hammond's biggest problem is it's kind of twofold. His kit isn't designed for him to stay with his team, and he's a very high skill floor character. Well, high skill floor, high skill ceiling in Overwatch 2. Just a way for him to stay with his team more consistently instead of, flying all over the place. And a way for him to be more consistent overall, like to bring down the skill floor, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So like I just said, the two factors I need to change is, one, his skill floor is way too high and he needs, his kit to allow him to stay with his team a little better. So keep that in mind with each of my suggestions. And all these suggestions aren't necessarily meant to all be implemented at the same time. It can be like a mix and match thing. So yeah, let's begin. Oh, also, I keep forgetting this. Don't forget, I do have a wildcard section at the end of my more serious recommendations. So yeah, stay tuned for that. So first of all, I think his grappling cooldown should be reduced to 0. Yep, you heard me. No more cooldown. Now, when I first wrote the script, I had it down to like 3 seconds from 5, but then I was like, why? The only reason I could think of is that he might be harder to hit since he can roll on the ground a lot more. But honestly, I don't think that would be a problem in any way because he's incredibly fast. And if he's just rolling around all the time, he's not helping his team in any way. So in order to be effective, he would have to slow down and shoot or go peel. And I guess more importantly, just because he has his grapple available to him, it doesn't really mean that he gets to use it effectively. You have to roll to like a really good spot, latch on like at a good spot on top of, whatever building you're trying to grab into, and aim at whatever you're trying to hit. The whole process itself takes several seconds. If they take off the cooldown completely, the move itself already kind of has its own built-in cooldown because there's so much setup required to be effective. So I don't think it would be overpowered at all. I think it would be very important for him to consistently swing back and forth into the team. I think this will be a good way to make him stay with his team more often. He will be able to more consistently swing back and forth, back into the fight, back to his team, go peel, all that type of good stuff. Not only that, but because he's so high skill ceiling, this will at least allow for more opportunities to try to do things, right? Like right now, his stuff he's trying to do is already pretty hard. So if you can increase how many chances you have to perform these things that he's trying to do, you will undoubtedly get like much more value out of it because you have more opportunities to get values out of these difficult mechanics. The only other thing I was thinking about was I don't know what would be faster, him rolling to a point at full speed or him Spider-Man swinging from building to building to a point. And honestly, this might fix him. Like this alone might completely fix him because it'll allow him to do both of the things we spoke about earlier. Just he gets more opportunities to try to do what he's trying to do, bringing down the skill floor, and he gets to stay with his team move. He gets to stay with his team more because he's able to go back and forth a lot more consistently. Like, honestly, maybe every suggestion after this one could be considered a wild card. Although this one is, some of you might think it's a little extreme, but I really don't think it is. Because again, like I said, I don't think he needs much. I think he's almost there, and I think this alone will do both of the main issues he has. So maybe everything after this should be a wild card. I don't know, you guys decide. But yeah, let's go to number 2. I think he should have a retraction mechanic. A retraction mechanic would help him bring down the skill floor, and let me explain. When let's say he's using his grappling hook onto a wall or something, he will be able to retract himself into the wall in a straight line with a push of a button. This will make it a bit easier for him to get back with his team. Anyone in the way would be, you know, pushed out of the way for the 50 damages he does now. Well, maybe 35 because it's like so easy. It's because it's like such a simple move, and he can hit multiple people. So yeah, if they get in the way. But if a person can't swing into a meaningful place, they can just use this to reposition or get back some value. The mobility would also allow for high skill moves, decent skill floor, and high skill ceiling. High skill moves and combos. So again, a decent skill floor and adding to the skill ceiling. Or if he grapples onto an enemy player, they both collide into each other. Not like Roadhog though, where he just kind of stuns you and brings you into him. The grapple target can still move freely until ball activates the retract. They would then be pulled into each other at like a halfway point. Anyone in between the line would get hit by it too. But when the target collides with Hammond at the midpoint, they are knocked out of the way, like as usual. Again, this allows the player to stay in the fight with his teammates and isn't too hard to get value from. However, like I said before, I imagine this is something higher level players can do some pretty crazy stuff with. So again, hitting on that, you know, skill floor, skill ceiling thing. Third suggestion, I guess these are kind of all wild card. Again, he doesn't need that much. He dominates. He really dominates if you really know how to play him. He's just like, there's nothing you can do to him if you're playing against a Hammond who really knows his stuff. But yeah, number 3, I'll just start going to the wild cards. Yeah, this one's all right. So this is kind of a weird idea, but hear me out. When he's rolling into an area, anyone who's in like the way of his tether line will be pushed in the direction that the line is swinging, kind of like a clothesline, but with the limited effects, like as if he's wrangling people. It'll essentially just kind of help him group enemies together and kind of pull them together, but not like something so strong, right? Let's say if you're in the tether line and in the trajectory of the tether line, you probably just get pushed back like 2 or 3 meters. And the line will, you know, just continue to go right through you. It'll just kind of bump you back a bit, and no damage. Yeah, just a side idea. But for, I guess, the one I actually labeled on here as the actual wild card, and I think this one's fun. This one's a fun one. Hammond's a fun character once you know how to play him. But yeah, the wild card idea is, I would like to interrupt this video to ask you to like and subscribe. If you made it this far in the video, chances are you kind of like what I'm talking about. So, you know, help me out, guys. Hammond gets a sonic spin attack. And when I say sonic, I mean like the Sonic the Hedgehog. Now you might ask yourself, what does this have to do with his grappling hook? Well, let me tell you, folks. Essentially, you press a button, different from the grappling hook button, and he would start spinning in place like Sonic. During this time, I was going to have him maybe take less damage, but Hammond already is so survivable, he doesn't need any more damage mitigation. But anyways, while he's spinning, you have like 5 seconds to click on 3 different points in a small area. When you activate it, Hammond will quickly essentially ricochet through each of these points like Sonic when he's going back and forth hitting multiple enemies. But this won't target people, just points like on the ground that you select. So the reason I thought of this was that it would essentially give him a move that allows him to stay with the team again, like kind of controlling the area. So he's not kind of flying all over the place. It's really kind of a controlled chaos, you know, zone that he would kind of have. We're using his mobility and keeping him within the fighting area that allows him to be more consistently, get value and, you know, bringing down the skill floor a bit, because it wouldn't be something that's too difficult to do. But again, like everything I suggested, I would imagine that the top players could really do some crazy things with this. Like instead of just moving everyone to the side, the player would be able to really combo the pile driver with the swing and the, you know, this sonic attack. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. It might be a little wild, but yeah, the reason these were kind of, you know, different from my usual videos is I don't think he needs one. He's already pretty strong. There's things I want to do with his damage, but it would depend. But again, this video is only focusing on his grappling hook. So yeah. So yeah, everything I suggested is only for the grappling hook, and I aimed at making him play more with his team more consistently, have more options, and have more opportunities to do the hard stuff. I don't think this will make him too OP because he already has a really high skill ceiling, and we are giving him just more options. High level players can honestly already, and I mean like really high level players, can already kind of do like all of these things I suggested all the time. Plus them all using the same cooldown would mean you have to choose which to do. Plus all of these moves, besides I guess the sonic attack, using the same grappling hook cooldown would mean that you would have to choose what you do. But yeah, so in summary, we lowered the cooldown he can get, and so yeah, in summary, we lowered the cooldown so he can get in and out more quickly. He has more chances to do the hard stuff to get some value. The pull-in system allows him to quickly get some value from, you know, hitting someone straight on.